Colombia is a country that teeters on the brink of narco-terrorism and democracy. It's a state that's been hijacked by drug dealers and gangsters, by right-wing paramilitaries and FARC guerrillas. Colombia's massive cocaine trade is at the heart of much of the armed conflict. Here in the jungle, coca is grown and then processed for export. Colombia supplies around 70% of the world's cocaine, and 90% of cocaine consumed in the US comes from there. The drug lords seem to operate with impunity here, and that means many Colombians live precarious lives.
The drugs cartels have been infamous for using extreme violence as a way of controlling both the money and controlling the people who are producing the drugs. And anyone who steps out of line will be subject to the most horrific brutality.
This seaport town of Buenaventura plays a huge role in Colombia's narco trade. Its strategic location on the Pacific Ocean on the west coast makes it one of the cocaine exporting capitals of the world. The drugs are said to be loaded onto ships here at night and then transported to the rest of the world. When we drove around the port by boat, we could see massive cargo ships anchored along its edges. Navy patrols kept an eye on proceedings.
This port has been at the centre of the armed conflict in Colombia for the last 20 years in the struggle between the drug traffickers, the paramilitaries and the FARC guerrillas, all of whom stand to gain enormous sums of money from drug trafficking out of this area.
The slums around Buenaventura's ports have become strategic regions for the drugs gangsters. Here in El Lleras, cocaine is allegedly loaded onto boats at night and taken to the ships in the nearby ports. Right-wing paramilitaries control this slum. Fr Ariel Ruiz is the local parish priest in El Lleras. He's showing the slum to Irish visitors. He's playing a very dangerous game as he's trying to stop the paramilitaries from ruining the lives of those living here. The children are especially vulnerable.
De tanta violencia se fue haciendo una cultura de la violencia, o sea, la gente parecía que fuera normal vivir de esa manera, y entonces se fue haciendo una cultura de la violencia y nació la experiencia de cambiar, digamos, volver, digamos, a hacer un espacio para la convivencia y el desarrollo.
Exactly. The trouble here is that children and young people have been exposed to extreme forms of violence for most of their lives, and they replicate a culture of violence in their own relationships, which gets another vicious circle going that's unending.
Fr Ariel is also campaigning against government proposals to tear down the slums to build fancy hotels, shops and boardwalks. The suspicion is that part of the plan involves the cocaine gangsters and that the intention is to turn the entire port of Buenaventura into a massive cocaine production centre.
Eso hace que los intereses de muchos empresarios, de mucha gente poderosa estén puestos acá. Entonces, la presencia de los grupos ilegales, en especial paramilitares, responden como a las necesidades de esas personas, ¿no? Y para nadie, digamos, es algo oculto que los grupos paramilitares tienen vínculos cercanos con la fuerza pública y con esta gente.
The school children perform for Fr Ariel during his visit to one of the many classrooms here. He's desperately trying to give them alternatives to taking up a gun or dealing in cocaine for a living.